And just another one in the four there behind you, Ruben Amorim, one of the Portuguese four.
Yeah.
Things not going so well for him. And there have been some reports this week that he could possibly quit the Manchester United job before he is sacked to, you know, maintain his reputation, if you will. Do you think that's a realistic scenario?
I don't think so. I think if he does that, that will, I think, make his reputation even worse. You know, I think he now needs to stick with it. He needs to try to get some kind of run and get stability and get quiet. And the only thing that he can do is win matches. That will keep people quiet for now. How he's going to do that, don't ask me. At the moment, it doesn't look that they can buy a win. They look always that they can get a goal against.
How much of this comes down to him versus the players?
Well, he gives the instructions, and end of the day, it's his job, isn't it? So obviously the players have to go out there and do it. But they getting the platform, and then from the platform they have to put their own imagination to it in that constructive kind of way, in that disciplined kind of way. But there is something that is not clicking. There is something that is not working. And you can say, yeah, the last game, if Fernandes scores the penalty, the game can go in a different direction. But then I would turn it at how many chances did they create, how many opportunities did they create, and how many did they miss. If they would have created a lot of chances and missed them, then you can say, you know what, you're not going to keep on missing them because they are quality players. But they're not creating a lot. And that's my problem. That's my whole thing about it. They are not creating a lot of opportunities, a lot of opportunities for Sesko, for instance, you know, or for Cunha. They're not creating enough. And that, for me, is a big issue.
Well, there are reports linking Gareth Southgate with taking over from Amorim if he was to leave United. You know what football's like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Would that be a good fit for you?
Look, I don't like to see managers getting the sack and all that kind of stuff. But look, Gareth would be a great appointment. He's good talking to the media. He gives young players opportunities. What Manchester United stand for. He's got a brilliant playing style. You know, he wants to play good football and dominant football. He will calm it down. He will be clear. He will be clear. So in that aspect, he would be a brilliant appointment. You know,
you know him
really
well.
get the opportunity. I don't know.
You know him well. What is he like?
As I said, he's very assured of his way, where he wants to go, and his communication skills in communicating to the people around him and the players. He's very clear at that. You know. And yeah, he gives young players opportunities. He's not afraid to give young players opportunities, and that's what Man United stands for. So in that aspect, he would be a brilliant appointment.
Well, for now, it is Amorim. I know you told me not to ask you this, but that's my job. How does he turn things around?
He needs to keep on believing.
Does he stick to what he's doing, or does he need to adapt?
I think every good manager knows how to adapt and when to adapt, and is not afraid to make changes, and has to be flexible. You know, we all have a belief in how we want to play, but you have to have the players to be able to play it. And if you don't have the players, you need to adjust yourself. And I think, yes, he has to stick with his beliefs, but he has to adjust himself here and there to be able to get fully 100% to his beliefs, and then his play style can come through. That's how I see it.
Okay.
He might see it differently.
Mark, what's the latest?
Listen, I can only work with the cards that I'm dealt with, so obviously I'm miserable every Monday because I've not really got anything to play with. Look, the situation with Amorim is that he'll still be in charge at the weekend against Sunderland. United don't want to make a change, but I think there's a realisation that things have to improve rapidly. This is his 50th game at the weekend against Sunderland. I think if they don't win it, I'd be surprised if he gets 51 because they can basically say he needs time, he's had a lot of issues that have been against him, etc, etc. But look, that win rate, 27% win rate. Prior to Amorim coming in, the worst record of a Man United manager in the Premier League was David Moyes, 50%. So that is how bad Amorim's record has been. And there's so many stats, you know, that no back-to-back wins since he came in, average point per game. An average of 1 point per game is relegation form. You know, the old rule that you had to have 40 points to be sure of staying up, that tracks onto 38 points. So that means Man United are in a relegation battle. So, you know, one thing that was put to me last week by somebody at United was that, yes, things aren't going great, but who do you bring in to replace you? I was being asked that question. It wasn't me asking the question. They were asking me, which was a bit worrying, I guess. But, you know, the answer to that is...
Very worrying.
It's a, good question. Well, exactly. So... what is the answer? Well, we know that Gareth Southgate's available. I don't think he's a solution because, first of all, the two big advocates for Gareth Southgate at Man United were Dan Ashworth and Dave Brailsford, both of whom have left. And obviously Southgate would not be a vote winner with the fans, I wouldn't have thought. People are mentioning Xavi, you know, record at Barcelona, but, you know, Man United right now, I think, need an experienced Premier League manager who knows the league, who knows the players, just to get them out of the situation. I don't think that's Xavi. I just don't think he could go in and work with that squad. And the other obvious, you know, candidate is Oliver Glasner. Now, you know, Glasner's situation is his contract expires at Palace at the end of the season. He'd be relatively inexpensive to get out of the club. He's older and wiser than Amorim. He's got a track record of winning trophies. He's made Palace, you know, the informed team in the Premier League. But I think the situation United are in right now is that they've made so many mistakes over the years, not just Ineos, but the Glazers, the whole club, that I think they would be over-analysing every potential candidate and trying to find reasons not to appoint them rather than find reasons to appoint them. They're so scared of making another mistake. But I think if Amorim, you know, was to lose or draw against Sunderland at the weekend, they would have to make a change because, you know, games are running out. I know it's early, but games are running out. You know, United right now, it's early enough in the season for somebody to turn it around. If it dragged on another month, that's another season gone, another season no Europe, another season potentially in relegation battle. So it is getting to the point now where it's, you know, stick or twist, I think, with Amorim.
And you think the Sunderland game, and not that there's anybody in the Premier League that they would be safe against, there's not. But you would imagine one of the promoted teams who you would, at the start of the year, you might have considered some cannon fodder would have been slightly easier to take a bit of pressure off, but not the way they've started. Sunderland spent a lot of money in the summer, have started really, really well, are full of confidence, and they'll be licking their chops at taking this Man United scalp. So, I mean, he needs to find... Well, like, it's not like we're going to sit to the weekend and go, well, I wonder what he's going to do.
No, exactly.
Because we know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And everybody knows what he's going to do. Exactly what they're going to do. As I've said many times, you don't even have... It must be the easiest week on the planet for every team that's playing Man United, the scouting department, and the people that do, you know, the tactics, the manager and the coaches, because they don't have to really think about the changes he makes, because he just doesn't make any. And playing players in terrible positions, and top of defenders that just want to squeeze out for offside and can't defend a long ball over the top as they had at the weekend. As we sit here now, if you gave me $100 to put on a winner of that game, I'd put it on Sunderland.
If you're Glasner, do you go?
Yes, because there's a shelf life at Crystal Palace with the likes of Steve Parish and others who only want to spend a certain amount of money every year to basically make sure they're not in a relegation battle. And if they can find a manager like Glasner that takes them with that budget to this promised land, then they're great with that. They're not all of a sudden going to go out and start giving Oliver Glasner a bundle of money. When Mark Gay's contract's up, he's going to leave. They've already lost Elise, they've already lost Eze, they'll lose the young lad in midfield whose name escapes me, the left footer. Adam Watson, who's a terrific young player, England international, they'll lose him next. And then you have to go out and replenish. Now, Brighton have done that very well, selling and then recruiting. But it's really, really, really difficult. And Brighton have a young manager who's up and coming. Oliver Glasner is not. He's been there, seen it and done it in Austria, in Germany, in England. And Crystal Palace are a great club, but the allure of managing Man United, even in their current state, every manager thinks they can turn the ship around. Everyone.
Right.
No matter how bad it is, a manager always thinks they can make a difference. And if push comes to shove, I think that's where, unless they go offshore somewhere else, I think if they're looking in England, they shouldn't really be looking much further.
Just a reminder, a lot more.
Manchester United reportedly considered appointing former coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer before they hired Ruben Amorim last November. The Portuguese coach was brought in from Sporting CP as United parted ways with Erik ten Hag after a poor start to the 2024-25 campaign. Solskjaer managed the Red Devils for 3 years before being dismissed in November 2021. United parted ways with Ten Hag in October 2024 and replaced the Dutchman with Ruben Amorim from Sporting CP. However, according to The Sun, the Red Devils hierarchy had considered bringing back club legend and former coach Solskjaer to take up the manager's role once again if Amorim was unattainable. Amorim's spell at Old Trafford has not gone as planned, as the Red Devils finished 15th in the Premier League and were defeated by Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League final. In the new season, United have been eliminated from the Carabao Cup second round by Grimsby Town and are currently 14th in the league, with just 2 wins from their first 6 matches. After United made a disappointing start to the new season, despite spending heavily in the transfer window, Amorim's future at Old Trafford has come under scrutiny, with many experts suggesting the club should part ways with the 40-year-old. Even former England boss Sir Gareth Southgate has also been tipped to replace the Portuguese. Solskjaer was relieved of his duties as Beşiktaş manager after the Turkish Super League giants crashed out of the Conference League playoffs in August. The Norwegian coach, who joined Beşiktaş in January 2025, arrived on a 1.5-year deal but lasted only 8 months in the role.